Thank you all for coming out. Um, Difficult day, especially on a personal level. Um, as you know by now, Ron Washington informed us that he is elected to step down, to resign as manager of the club in order to turn his attention to a personal, off-the-field matter. And out of respect for Wash's privacy, and we're going to leave any comment on the details of what that situation is for him to address if and when and how he chooses. This has been a difficult season for the team on the field for a variety of reasons. But it was very clear throughout the organization, publicly, privately, and with Ron, that he was coming back. That we were planning on him to be back as our manager for 2015. The bottom line is you don't have a season like we've had without a number of things going wrong. First and foremost with decisions that I've made. I think that's where the accountability starts. But that's not what this decision, this outcome is about. It's not an on-field matter. And while we're disappointed, we accept Ron's decision and are grateful to him, again, personally and professionally, for his contributions to the organization and the community and what has been really a record-setting and historic 8-year run as manager of the club. A lot of firsts, a lot of records, a lot of tremendous moments that we stood together as an organization and a fan base, and we're very, very grateful and thankful for all those things. Open it up.
Questions? Wait for the mic.
JD, when did the timeline on this happen?
Recently, ultimately a decision was finalized this morning, but we were made aware of the situation recently.
Did anybody try to persuade Ron to either stay on or take a leave of absence and come back in 2015?
We looked at a variety of different things and talked to Wash about different things. Ultimately, this was right for him, and we respect and agree with his decision.
Questions? Matt?
John, because of his past, there's going to be a jump to conclusion that Ron Washington failed a drug test of some kind. Was this decision related to that in any way?
No, and Mac brings up a question we anticipated and talked to Ron about it. Again, while we don't want to touch on any of the specifics, Ron's given us permission to acknowledge that this was not drug-related.
What else? Ozzie?
JD, have you had a chance to meet with the players, and what is their reaction?
We just did before we came in here. Ron wanted an opportunity to address the club, which we thought was appropriate. So he spoke to the team. It was an emotional meeting, and really haven't had a chance to gauge reaction. But obviously he's very well thought of in that room, and so I imagine it's emotional for them as well.
Guys, that's enough from the front, okay? Can you move to the side, please? You two guys, thank you. Next question. Questions? Jane?
So what's the contingency plan moving forward?
Tim Bogar is going to manage the club down the stretch. He's been named interim manager. Bobby Jones will be his bench coach. Obviously, Bobby's a longtime Ranger and done a little bit of everything in the organization. A ton of experience on the bench. So, we haven't gotten any further past that at this point.
Jeff?
What did you think of Wash's performance on the job this year?
I hold Wash in high regard as a manager. I think his record speaks for itself. I think there's the opportunity in the game. You can pick apart, depending on how small you want to look, you can pick anything apart. I think on the whole, Wash has done a tremendous job for the organization recently and long term, and I'm grateful for his contributions and his friendship.
What else? Louis?
John, in Wash's statement, he said he regretted letting the Rangers down. Can you give us any insight to why he felt he let the Rangers down at all to make a statement like that?
I really can't, Nui. I mean, that's for him to address if he chooses. I just want to respect that.
Calvin?
No.
Go ahead.
What do you like about Bogart in terms of him finishing this out for you guys?
Sure. Tim is a very well regarded. He's got the respect of his peers, of the players, hardworking, organized, knowledgeable about the game, respected on the staff, and he was the natural choice to manage the club down the stretch.
Jerry?
John, is Ron Washington's relationship with the organization severed, or will he have any kind of role with the organization in the future?
There's nothing at this point, nothing contemplated at this point as far as a role.
I just want to get you to go back over when they were asking about the possible leave of absence. Why was that not an option? Did Ron ultimately decide that he didn't want to take that route?
Again, I'd rather leave that to Ron if he chooses to address it at some point.
But that was extended by this organization?
I don't want to go into the details of our conversations.
Jeff?
So are things amicable between Wash and the organization?
Yeah. Yes.
No hard feelings.
What else? PR?
Do you anticipate opening up a managerial search at the end of the season?
Most likely. We haven't gotten that far. This is pretty fresh as far as where we are in the situation, how things have come down. But ultimately, we're going to make a long-term choice based on what's best for the organization, the club, moving forward.
What else? Right.
John, I know you're probably not going to like dealing in hypotheticals, but if the club had a winning record and you're successful, do you think Ron would have resigned today?
I think, like you said, Mac, I don't think it's really healthy to go into hypotheticals. At the end of the day, this is about Wash needing time to address something significant in his life off the field. Personal off-field matter. I respect his decision.
John, when you said this is a recent development, can you get any more specific than that? How long this has been discussed?
We've known about it for a little while here, in a matter of weeks, not longer than that.
Jane?
Without digging here, obviously Ron has a lot of fans. Should fans be concerned about Ron or someone in his family at this point?
Again, just not appropriate for me to go into Ron's business. Listen, I think the bottom line is he stepped down for personal reasons. So I certainly think, well wishes and thoughts for him and his family are appropriate, but I just can't get into the specifics.
PR?
You said you'd known about this for a few weeks. Were you guys trying to resolve this without it coming to Ron stepping down?
I'm not going to get into specifics here.
Take two more. Louis and then Jerry.
John, did you feel let down at all by Wash?
I understand knowing a little bit more about what's going on. I understand why he needs to do what he's doing, and I respect that. You work with someone for 8 years and develop a pretty close bond. A lot of emotions, really. But at the end of the day, care about him as a person first, and respect that he needs to address some things. I don't want to use that term.
Jerry?
John, I understand your primary concern is Ron Washington, the person. I'm not trying to, but the organization now has lost some people the last few months. And I don't want to use pejorative terms, but is the organization, I don't know, spinning a little bit right now, or does it need to take a deep breath and calm down right now? Or I'm searching there.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think there's a number of notable contributors to the club that have left the organization for a variety of reasons. And I think on one hand, that's something that we need to address. On the other hand, we've spent a lot of time and built up what I consider a really, really talented staff across the board, business, baseball, on, off field. And it's an opportunity for a lot of those folks to step into roles really they've been groomed for. That's not to say we can replace everybody internally, but that's our first thought always. But clearly, we've got, in addition to the on-field decisions we had to make going into this off-season, we've got some additional staffing considerations to look at.
Now, really, I want to take two more. Matt, Bill Jones. That's it.
John, what are the specific qualities you want out of your next manager to lead this team?
I've got some general thoughts. I haven't even really had a chance to sit down. This isn't the situation we were anticipating looking at. Just give me a little time and I'll get back to you on that one.
Go ahead, Evan. You and then Bill. Now we can go ahead.
John, right up until the end, did you feel like you had the same partnership with Wash, working-wise, that you had throughout really the start of the relationship?
I think relationships change over time, from successes and failures, shared experiences, different things changing, different people coming in and out. At the end of the day, I felt very comfortable with Wash and where our relationship was.
And I'm not sure what the format is if we were going to hear from ownership as well, but I'd love to hear from Mr. Simpson, Mr. Davis, just their reaction to this news.
Who doesn't love Ron Washington? We've been with him 4 years as owners. In August is when the agreement to buy the club, and we've had the joy of tremendous success with him and the organization, and specifically JD. And so there's some sadness, and I care a lot for the man, and I think he brought a collegiate atmosphere to professional sport, which I think we all enjoyed, and endeared himself to his players and the fans and to ownership and to management. And so we'll miss that. Was looking forward to more time with him. I'm sorry it came to this, but we'll be okay. We'll do what we need to do here. This is a year of righting some other issues in terms of the overall club performance. We have lost some other staff, but that comes with success. When you got this successful organization, you're going to lose staff, and that's just part of you're going to attract it. Other people being interested, and I'm confident that JD will replace that talent. He'll bring another good manager to this club, and we're dedicated to the success of the Rangers, as we've always been as owners, and we look forward to a quick recovery to a competitive playoff type team next year.
Yeah, I think you don't replace Ron Washington's personality. I will never get over him helping the runners around third base and scoring, and I'll have very fond memories over the last 4 years. But I am disappointed that Ron chose to do this. I think there comes a time in all of our lives where we have to set our own priorities, and your personal life obviously has to take preference over your professional life. And that was a decision that Ron made, and we respect that. Going forward, we have had an extremely difficult year, and I am overwhelmed really by the support of our fans. Keep coming out to the game when it's been hot this summer and we've been losing, and honestly, with the injuries we've had, the product we've had to put on the field, but our fans have continued to support us. And I would ask, as we go through this and we go through the rest of the year and we start out spring with I told John this morning, as soon as opening day hits in 2015, we haven't lost a game. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and I think we'll put a very competitive team on the field.
Okay, thank you. And we'll bring Bogey in here.